So good day, and welcome to WEDCOnomics, a podcast brought to you by Wolfeboro Community TV and Wentworth Economic Development Corporation. I'm Jack Terrill. I'm the Executive Director of Wentworth Economic Development Corporation, also known as WEDCO. We are a 501c3 nonprofit that exists to help small businesses and entrepreneurs in our Eastern Lakes region area, and we do that through advising, financing, and promoting the sector. And thank you for joining. I think we have a very interesting show today. I'd like to welcome Kathy Fairman.
Thank you, Jack. Glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to chat with you.
Kathy is the owner of Wolfeboro Trolley Company, and she wears many, many, many hats. As so many small business people do, we don't have teams and teams of people handling our things. It's up to us to take care of the accounting, the marketing, and on and on. So Kathy's a great example of that. And in full disclosure, Kathy also serves on the board at WEDCO.
It's an honor.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you. So let's talk about this Wolfeboro Trolley Company, which I'm sure many of you local folks are very familiar with, the two trolley cars that you see running around, one named Molly, one named Jolly. Give me a little history of trolleys in Wolfeboro.
Sure, happy to do that. So the first trolley came to Wolfeboro in 1987. That was our first Molly the trolley. She was brought here by 3 local businessmen at the time. They were all members of directors at the Chamber of Commerce. So Greg Rourke Sr., David Hemingway owned Blacks, Greg Rourke owned Wolfeboro Casuals at the time, and my former business partner, and we were business partners at the time, Dick Eaton. We owned the Laker newspaper, which we'd started just a few years before that in 1984. So the goal was, at that time, basically the same goal as we have today with Jolly, our second trolley. The idea was to try to relieve traffic congestion in town. So this was in the boom of the 1980s. And so 1987, however, that fall, the stock market tanked, and we went into
the boom in the fall of
87, and then by 1989 we were in a pretty serious recession. So there was great enthusiasm for it in 1987, but that waned a little bit. So what happened was Dick and I bought out Dave and Greg went on to establish Community Bank and Trust. So they were going into some other areas as well, and we started running the trolley as an attraction. We had the means to promote it with the newspaper. So we decided we would do a historic tour because the town fell in love with Molly right off of the bat. And so we've continued to do that. And today, Molly, so we're talking 36, 37 years ago, Molly is considered an ambassador to Wolfeboro. She promotes the town. And the whole effort is really a community effort where the businesses support the trolley with signs on the trolleys, inside and out, and through our brochure and our map. So collectively, there's about 100 businesses that are involved in doing this now with us. Right, yes. And so collectively...
Didn't know there was 100 businesses in Wolfeboro.
Oh, well, there's well over 300 businesses in Wolfeboro. But anyway, together we get out there and we promote the town as a whole, and it's worked out well. And then we also do private charters. That's what helps keep the trolley going, as well as the promotion that the businesses do on the trolley. So, I mean, we've got second generation people who got married. Their kids are now getting married and hiring the trolley. So it's been so that's a little bit of the history. So is the original Molly still? Well, you know, it's kind of an interesting story. The very first Molly, the trolley, retired, but she is still running, we understand. She's out in upper state New York. Our second Molly, the trolley, is with us. And then last year we brought on Jolly, the trolley. So he was actually constructed in 2021 for us. So he was our first brand new one.
Oh, brand new.
Molly was built in 2000. Both our trolleys were made in Wells, Maine, very close by the Molly Corporation. They've been building trolleys there for about 40 years. And so that's where our trolleys come from. And we're very proud to we were a one-trolley town for a very long time, but now we're a true trolley town because we're again trying to take... Right, right, right.
Well, you know what? You could have stayed with one. It was a bold move to go to two.
It was a big move, and we actually made that decision in 2018, 2019 actually was when, and I had a deposit on a second trolley then that was a used trolley, and then COVID happened. And in fact, the businesses were all supportive of it. The signs were all sold over that winter, and I pulled the plug on that and did not move forward with it at that time because of the pandemic and the uncertainty of what was going to happen. And then, of course, as a result, the ironic thing, of course, is that things have grown in Wolfeboro since that time. The pandemic had an interesting impact on so many of our communities, including our own, so that we find the need was even greater. So I went back and brought it out last year, and with the support of the businesses, we were able to bring Jolly to town. And now we're looking for the support of the people who work downtown and for the citizens of Wolfeboro to use the shuttle service so that we can try to do something to alleviate the traffic congestion and the circling for parking that we have downtown.
So I'm hearing really three, excuse me, three functions of Wolfeboro Trolley Company. One, it's a shuttle service.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's available for private functions.
Right.
And three, sort of an informational tour as well.
Absolutely, yep.
Have I got that right?
You've got that just right, just right. So we're the informational tour, and then our outreach with our map and brochure that we do, where we go into the rest areas and we distribute it over 300 locations in the state of New Hampshire.
Do you really?
Yes. We'll go to the big exposition in Springfield in September. We go to travel shows throughout the winter. So we're out there promoting Wolfeboro.
So the Wolfeboro Trolley Company is very much a mutually reinforcing entity or activity for the businesses in the area, right?
Sure is.
I mean, one helps the other.
It's a cooperative effort. It's a cooperative effort.
So let me just talk about the informational tour a little bit. So is that strictly Molly, or does Molly and Jolly both do?
Molly the trolley is doing the narrated tours, as she has always. They're narrated. They're live narrated by the driver, experienced drivers. We talk about the colonial history of the town. We have a very interesting history. We talk about the sights to see, the museums in the town, the businesses that are on the trolley, points of interest, things people want to know, where the restrooms are, where the liquor store is. And we go by, our tour takes us along a Sewell Road. We see some beautiful views. We see Lake Wentworth and Crescent Lake. And so people get a taste for what the other half lives like and see what, and they're always interested, of course, in who lives here and who vacations here and all that. So
but you're discreet
it's fun.
About that. You don't,
oh, yes.
You don't out somebody's house.
We sure don't. No, we do not tell where specific people live. We're very careful about that.
People that do like Wolfeboro.
Oh, sure, we do. And people ask questions about it. But that's Wolfeboro. But it's also Wolfeboro to be respectful of their privacy. And we try to make sure that we do that as well. So, and we think that's very important because we understand there's a lot of reasons why it's nice to live in Wolfeboro and vacation in Wolfeboro, and we want to respect that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to learn, and I'm in the learning mode. I only arrived here last December, but the number of fairly well-known people that really just love this area and are dedicated to it and have properties in the area and utilize. In fact, one of these couples named their first daughter Winnie. So enamored were they of this area.
Jimmy and Nancy Fallon, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jimmy, this is for you. I'd like you to come on WEDCOnomics sometime when you're up here, and we can have a good chat. So just bear that in mind. So yeah, I actually took that tour. You very graciously were offering it to local people, and you know, when I got off the trolley, I was so excited to have my daughter, son-in-law, and my 2 grandchildren come up, because there's so many cool things to do in this area, particularly in the summer, but not exclusively. There's all kinds of things on a year-round basis up here.
There sure are.
Now, Molly and Trolley do not run on a year-round basis.
We do not. We start in April, and our first events are usually with Brewster Academy, where we are doing what they call revisit days for students coming back and see what the town is like. And then we have some charters. Our tours start Memorial Day, and they run through Columbus Day on the weekends, daily in the summer. And we do weddings up through the fall and the winter. Our very last event is our Christmas parade, weather permitting. So our trolleys do not go out in the snow and the ice. I don't want to know how well they run in the snow and the ice, so we don't do that.
I don't think anybody does.
No,
really.
we don't. And I know there's some that can. They have dual wheels in the back, but no, they get tucked away for the winter time. So, but then we're busy getting ready.
Probably a well-deserved rest. Really.
They do get it. They do deserve to have some time off.
Do you have to send them back to Wells for maintenance?
Oh, no, we have local people, local businesses that help us maintain the trolleys and keep them clean. Wolfeboro Car Wash and Executive Detail keeps them nice and clean inside and out. And they're stored in boat sheds here. So they hang out with the boats in the wintertime.
Yeah. Who knows what could come of that? Some new form of transportation.
Who knows? Well, they talk
boat,
about
right?
They talk about all the different things that go on. And they have great stories, I'm sure, that they share. So,
yeah. So, when you say you do weddings, that you're not meaning that people are getting married on the trolley.
Not yet. No, we haven't had that happen
Although
yet.
that's an option.
I suppose it could be.
So, what is it? What's the function that Wolfeboro Trolley Company does for a wedding?
Well, we provide safe transportation for up to 30 people. So we do. Sometimes it's to the church and back. More likely, it is a transportation for both the guests and the wedding party, from where they're staying to the venue for the ceremony, and then to the venue for the reception. Oftentimes, of course, it's the same place for the ceremony as well as the reception, and then back at the end of the evening, which is very important.
Them home at the end of the
Oh
evening?
yes, that's our job. We get everybody safe and sound wherever they need to go on the wedding day. So yeah, that's the point. So really, it's a safety issue, but it's so much fun. You know, the whole wedding party is together. Yeah. So we also do concerts. We just got back. Jolly went to see Dave Matthews last night. Had a great time. Oh yeah, he loves that. He loves to go there. Banker Pavilion over in Meadowbrook. Yeah. So we went to Meadowbrook. We're doing a private group for a dinner theater, trolley dinner theater. So
you'll go around to the other side of the lake.
Molly and Jolly, the trolley travel. They've been to Wentworth by the sea, and Molly's been to the Mount Washington Hotel. So
that's fantastic.
So we do travel mostly here in the Lakes region, but central New Hampshire. So our services.
So how do you reach those folks that are going to be getting married, and it doesn't even have to be in Wolfeboro apparently, but somewhere in the...
Well, New Hampshire, and particularly the Lakes region, is home to many destination weddings, so people coming here from all over. Oftentimes one side or the other has a connection. They may have gone to camp here. They may own a summer home here, so they have many connections. So I would have to still say that the biggest source of our of inquiries that come to us, it's word of mouth and experience. But of course, they find us through the internet now today, and our website, and where we have fantastically positive reviews so far. We're very thankful for that. Yes, we do. We're very proud of that.
So what is the website address?
WolfeboroTrolley.com.
Easy enough.
Everything about us is on there. Our map is on there.
And that's how people can connect with you and say, hey, we want to book a wedding party, or we're looking at this, or we're having a bunch of family for a reunion, and we want to show
all
them
of those
around
things.
Wolfeboro.
Absolutely. And you can just call me. 603-569-1080. That's Wolfeboro Trolley Company. And I answer the phone. And if I'm not, it's because I'm driving the trolley or I'm talking with somebody else, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But we believe in personal service, and that is something people are so appreciative of.
So you just mentioned, and I think we ought to explore it a little bit since we like to talk about small business experiences, etc. You wear many different hats, not only the captain's hat, many different hats at Wolfeboro Trolley Company.
Well, that's very typical of a small business, of course. You know, I like to say when I have a staff meeting, I pull everybody together, but I only need 1 cup of coffee. It's really just me. So it's not unusual. That's what the story of a small business is. But while I'm the only full-time employee, and I do all of the aspects of that, from the bookkeeping to the sales, I call on all those customers in the wintertime to line up their ads and their signs, and then the scheduling for the dryers, the hiring of the drivers, the updating of the narration. I work with all the brides, and they really are time-consuming. I had one the other day, and I noticed it when I finished, and I said, really? We've had 98 emails over this wedding exchanges? But that happens because we provide that personal service. So, and we will do 85 to 90 private events this year. So that's big part of what we do. So, yes, it is a very typical story, and when I come up here to Kingswood to some of the events that they have through the Technology Center and jobs fairs and things like that, that's one of the points I make when the kids come up and they want to talk about driving the trolley. And I say, yes, that's one thing that we do, but if you want to be a small business owner like what I'm doing, taking courses in communications, in marketing, in photography, in writing, every one of those aspects of what you're learning in school are going to be helpful to you. Your math, any opportunity you have to learn any of those things are very helpful to you if you think you'd like to own your small business. My background's mass communications and journalism. That's what I went to college for, and I did not care for math, and it never occurred to me to take a business course. And I wish I had taken a business course. I've been a small business owner for 40 years now, and boy, I could have used I've learned it through the School of Hard Knocks.
You figured it out, but it could have been a slightly easier path.
Yes.
You know, but that's in retrospect. You've not just the Wolfeboro Trolley Company, you've been involved in multiple small business.
Right.
The Laker.
Right, that publishing company, when we started that newspaper, which I'm very proud is still continuing today under its second ownership since we started that. So, yeah, but experience, wisdom, you pass it on when you get the color of our hair, Jack, right? So you say, go ahead and learn.
My hair now.
You learn all you can about all different aspects, especially if you think you might like to own your own business someday.
But the learning process is what keeps you young.
I think so, too. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got to stay out there, and it does keep you young. Keeps you active, involved with people. It's a lot of fun. Molly the trolley, Jolly the trolley, a lot of work, a lot of fun. We put smiles on people's faces. When you're driving that trolley, and I am one of the drivers, when you're driving that trolley, everybody's smiling at you. Makes you feel great. Of course, they're smiling at the trolley, but they're not smiling at me. But it's very joyful.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and it takes somebody like you who is fully invested. You can't do a small business and be half in the water.
No.
You got to be all in, or else it's unlikely to succeed. Have you now? You're also active in the community. You're on the board of WEDCO, as I mentioned earlier. Being active in the community, being on boards, being in committees, or whatever it is not an island unto itself. It can be beneficial to the small business as well. In fact, the more active you are, the more out you are, the greater your chance for success with your small business. Absolutely.
And relationships, whether you're in a small business or you're in, I think, any kind of business, you build your relationships with other businesses. You're not an island. Good example of that. You're not an island. you need to be working with other people and working together, because every time you work together as a group with a common goal, you're going to get further, you're going to reach more people. And so all of those, it's not just your relationship with your customer, though that certainly is a very important one, but it's relationship with other businesses. I mean, local businesses, and I've known some for 40, 50 years here. I've worked in town for 50 years. And, you know, people will say, well, restaurants, well, we're not competing with them. You know, we may be competing with the businesses on the other side of the lake to get them come here. We're competing with Massachusetts, Vermont, New York. Here in town, we need to work together. 2 restaurants, 2 businesses that sell ice cream or whatever, I'm out of napkins, I'm out of straws, you know, can we help each other? That's the kind of thing that really moves things forward and moves your business forward, too, if you work with other people.
So the wedding special event sounds very successful. I mean, 80 to 90 events a year is fantastic. I hope people would be taking advantage of the narrated tour.
That does very well every year, so.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back and talk about the shuttle if I could a minute more.
Well, that's where I'm going.
Oh,
okay,
that's good.
I'm looping there, but I eventually do get to the drill down.
There we go.
As my listening audience knows.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, let's talk about that sort of third leg of the stool, which is the shuttle.
Yeah.
Which the mission there is to alleviate parking congestion in downtown.
That's the goal, is to get our town back, if you will. And speaking about being all in, as you said, that you have to be focused on when you're running a small business or an owner, I really am all in on this now, because just recently, after the 4th of July parade, we did a free parade shuttle, complimentary, and we had more people take it than we've ever had. Last year, it was great. Last year, some of the comments about Jolly the Trolley, and we were charging for that, $6 for an all-day pass for an adult, $3 for children, under 4 free. We had comments that I would take it. Some people had written and said, well, I would take it if it was free. And I thought, well, how are we going to do that? Because nothing's really free. It has to be paid for somewhere along the line. But after the 4th of July parade, I decided that we should try it free this year. With the support of the businesses who are supporting it with their signs and all, and the charters that we're doing, and I would hold back for a second year. When you start a business, you don't necessarily expect the first 2 or 3 years that you're actually going to get anything back in your pocket. Mm-hmm. So this year, I am fully invested in it to try to see if we can make it work. Because if we can make the shuttle work, I think it'll make a real difference in our town. And we don't want our customers leaving Wolfeboro to do their shopping, to do their errands. And as the people of Wolfeboro, we want to be enjoying the very reason why we choose to live here. I mean, it's the lake, it's the environment, it's the beauty of the area, but it's also the relationships with our small businesses and being able to go into shops and know people and to pick out our cards, to do any of the errands, to go to the hardware store to get the widget we need to fix the wadget. You know, it's just, those are the things we really want from our community. But in order to do that, the people who work downtown need to give up their parking spaces. And if they can take the shuttle into town,
which is now
free. Yeah, we had done season passes, but that means you got to figure out where your season pass is. All you have to do is step on to Jolly this year. And Wednesday through Saturday, we're starting at 7:30 in the morning, so some people have to be to work by 8. We're running until 6 o'clock at night. It runs every half hour, and we're running both from Kingswood Arts Center at 21 McManus Road, and we're running from the public parking lot next to Linda's Flowers on 91 Center Street. So that's people coming in from the east, people coming from the south. Next year, if it works this year, and we can see that people are using it, then the town of Wolfeboro has said that they would hopefully be able to use the piece of property on North Main Street, where the old water tower used to be, that's now being used by bucket trucks for parking, that we could put public parking there, and then we could shuttle from North Main Street. So then we'd be able to really provide for everybody coming in from those 3 directions. Wednesday through Saturday is when we're doing the lawn shuttle. It's all I have drivers for. We are running on Monday and Tuesday from 10 until 3, so the visitors who have been using it and starting to can still use it. And we're not running on Sundays. That seems to be the day that we are less congested because some businesses are closed.
Right.
So that's what we're really asking is for people to help us here, because every time we free up a parking space downtown, it's available for a customer. And if we can just drive through town like we can in the morning and the late afternoon, you can drive right through the center of town. If we can do that, we'll all enjoy it more, and it'll be good for business, for everybody. So
everybody wins.
Everybody wins if we can just work together and cooperate and use the shuttle.
So these folks that would be parking up at the Art Center, and there's ample parking up there.
Hundreds of parking spaces at Kingswood, and the school board has been so supportive in letting us use that. We thank them. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, that's another example of people working together to achieve a common goal.
Yeah.
Which is a more inviting, more accessible downtown Wolfeboro.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is.
Do you have any synergies with, for example, the Mount Washington cruise?
Oh, what a great! I'm so glad you brought that up, Jack. The Mount Washington is a great partner of ours. They buy signs on our trolleys, and they are promoting the parking to park at Jolly, and they are adding that. When we were charging, they were adding that on their website. You could buy the Jolly Pass there. You can buy the Molly Pass. They actually have a section on their website called Stay and Play for those people who board the 10 o'clock trip out of the Weirs and come to Wolfeboro and get off at 11:15, and then they can take a trolley tour, and we'll take them to the museums or whatever, and they're promoting that on their website. So we're working closely with them and other partners in the other museums to get people to come and enjoy our community. But that's a problem for the Mount. Our 2-hour parking does not allow somebody to park and take the boat because it's a 2.5-hour cruise. So that's the other piece that's very important. If it's enforced, absolutely. Yes, you did. And again, thanks for getting us right where we needed to go here. We need for the police department to enforce the parking regulations, both not just the 2-hour, but the illegal parking. We had a big extended pickup truck parked in the motorcycle parking space on Sunday for several hours, for as long as I was driving the trolley. And
that wasn't me.
No, and you know, there's a reason why that particular spot's for motorcycles. It's because when you put a vehicle there, it makes it very difficult for anybody trying to come in and go around to launch their boat to make that corner. It makes it difficult for the trolley. It makes it difficult for any larger vehicle. So there's a reason for things like that, and we really do. And I understand from the Wolfeboro Police Commission that it is the intention to enforce that. The people in Wolfeboro voted to support a new police officer position that would be here at the school in the wintertime and downtown in the summertime enforcing the regulations. So I am very hopeful that we're going to see that in practice now that we do have the shuttle, now that it is free. We need that last leg of support from the Wolfeboro Police Department Commission, and I am confident they're going to follow through with that.
You know, there's probably not a lot of towns in New Hampshire that have a free trolley shuttle.
Not that are our size. There are fewer and fewer towns that have the trolleys.
So that's just a blessing, and I think we need to all recognize not only that it exists, but how do we collectively bring it to the next level and really become a model of how to move people in and out of a small town that is beloved and attracts a lot of people. So
it's up to the people of Wolfeboro now. I think we're doing that.
The future, the trolley future in Wolfeboro. Are you bullish or bearish?
I am always optimistic. People who know me do this.
Optimism.
Yep, I'm optimistic. I'm still idealistic. I believe it will work. I believe that people are going to get on board and support it. The business is doing it. The town has done it by letting us put up signs. The selectmen are very supportive. They are watching this very closely to see how well it's going to work. And the word so far that I'm seeing on social media is that people are supportive of it. So now we just need for people to start using it, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
it's between now and September, and then we go from there.
That's it, folks. You heard it here. Maybe not first, but you heard it here. Our guest, Kathy Fairman, the owner of Wolfeboro Trolley Company. It's a beautiful, another asset in our community that we should all be taking advantage of. When you see Molly, you see Jolly, beep or wave, let those two know that you appreciate them, because they have feelings too.
Of course they do.
That's me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jack, for having us here.
Pleasure.
I enjoyed it, and it was great, and always great to reach out to the people in Wolfeboro, and also you'll be hearing more and more about the Wolfeboro Economic Development Corporation. And thank you for coming on to WEDCO, Jack. We're excited about that, and thanks for doing this show. It's a great idea.
Yeah, well, if we say we're going to promote small businesses, you
Yep.
got to do stuff like this no matter what you look like. So, Jack Terrill, Executive Director, Wentworth Economic Development Corporation, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, Wolfeboro Community TV is a wonderful community asset. They too are a 501c3 nonprofit, and they wouldn't mind at all if you were able to show a little appreciation with a donation of some sort, so we can keep this asset going. And just because the shuttle's free doesn't mean somebody can't drop something in the donation box.
Oh, it'd be so nice to remember to appreciate the drivers. Our drivers are far and few between, and it's hard to come by. And if you have any interest in doing something, call out in terms of driving. Give me a call. I'll tell you how much fun it is.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.